Hi everyone, welcome to our Roundtable Discussion EP7. And today the the guys is still Luke and me and Ben will attend the discussion as well. But for now, Ben is having a emergency meeting, so maybe he will come here later. Well, so let's start our discussion today. And Luke, could you please tell them your topic?
Yeah, so I was asked to talk about different models of large format printers. So I did a little research today on some that I own and some that I don't, to sort of give people an idea of what's out there in addition to the Comgrel T500.
Yep. So, and my topic today is because recently I'm doing some work for the translation of a new mod, a new machine. I'm doing the translation work for the instruction manual. So I will gonna to talk about that later. So let's start. Just start from Luke. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So in no particular order, um, so I am classifying large capacity printers at essentially 450 millimeter square bed or larger. This will not be an all-inclusive list. I did make some notes on each model, a little bit about what might that set them apart from others, and some in a good way, some in a bad way. So uh, the first one I got on my list is the Tronxy X5SA. It's a 500 millimeter cubed. It lifts for about $865. I have in my notes. I tested the the three 350 millimeter model, but it's the same one, just a little bit bigger for the 500. And they used 20 by 20 extrusions for the main frame, and I found it to be a little less stable um, because the 20 by 20 extrusion is just not very rigid. You can do bracing to add it with 3D printed braces and stuff or whatever, but it's not as solid of a platform as some. They also offer it in a 600 by 600 for about $1,200. Then this one just sort of squeaked in. It's not quite a full 450 by 450, but you got the Anycubic Cobra 2 Max. It comes in just under $500. It's 420 by 420. It's basically a POM movement, looked to be Marlin based printer. I'm sure that Anycubic did a decent job on it, but it's just sort of a plain Jane bed slinger as far as that goes. Then we have the Crowley CR-M4 with the 450 by 450 bed. It's got the proven Sprite direct drive hot end that Crowley's been using for a while now. It's got the Y-axis on rails and the X-axis on POM wheels. That one's retailing for about $880. Pretty sure that one's on Marlin. Then let's see here. So we have the Tronxy VO600 large Core XY printer. So now you're getting into the Klipper class of their printers. That one starts at $1,260. Again, still with the weaker frame. I do believe that they provided an aluminum braces for the corners, so you don't have to print your own braces, but still sort of a little light on the frame, if you ask me. And if you really want to go big with the Tronxy, they offer the VO 1000 at $3,200. That's a little bit rich for my blood. Then the Voron kit options, there's a bazillion of them out there. Most Voron 2.4s with a large size bed kit's going to run you about $900. You do end up with Klipper on that, but the bigger negative there is that's a scratch built kit, and it's going to take you potentially several days to get it all up together and running. And if you're not skookum on how to build printers, it might be a struggle. And then we've got the CR10 Max. I own one of those. I beta tested it. Still a solid printer. It is POM wheels. It is Marlin, but it is stable with the dual Z drive. And I remember, I think that those come with the belt sinking kit on them. If I remember right. It's been a minute. But anyhow, so that one comes in at about $1,100. Its bed is 460, 460, 475 or something like that. And then last but not least, the Comgrau T500, which is a 500 by 500 by 500, currently available for $800. Has the heaviest frame. It is Klipper driven. Has a 300C hot end, a Builtec flex bed sheet stock, and I think it's a really good value in the market. But that gives you some stuff to sort of compare as to what's out there other than the Comgrau / Sovo team now option.
Okay. Yep. So by the way, because I'm not don't know 3D printer like you. I mean, like an expert. And recently, I'm quite interested about the Warren machine. So, have you know about that or? Yeah.
I've been watching the Voron community develop. There's a lot of people that love the Vorons. For the people that have more time than money, they can be a great option. There's way less expensive options than the one I listed at $900. You get the speed of Klipper. Most of them are Core XY in a cube frame, which I'm a fan of cube frames. They are generally just more stable than a bed slinger. Um, and they go faster, right? Some of the cons with some of the kits is you might need a second 3D printer to 3D print parts of the part kit because you save money by building more of the parts than others. And just a general community note on that one. I'm a bigger fan of having kits that have stamped metal for the corner supports for the bed idler for the belt idler anchors in the corners because the printed ones tend to distort over time, and just a better way to go if you can get one that has metal brackets for where the belts change direction as they're getting jammed around at whatever speed you're driving it at, 300 plus millimeters a second most times.
Yeah. And the most impressive video I've ever saw about 3D printer is when I saw that on YouTube. I think the video is from a guys who called 547 printing or or maybe other name. He have used the Warren machine to print at a speed at like 1,600 millimeter per second, I think, if I didn't remember that wrong.
Right.
And that is really incredible and unbelievable for me because um, I used the N3 and the Samum D1 before, and the maximum speed I have ever used is only like 150 millimeter per second, and that is even 10 times more than my printing experience. So I can't
Yeah,
believe,
150 seems fast when you've been printing at 60 millimeters a second, but
yeah, yeah,
there's a larger conversation that's going to go on with these bigger format machines, especially as we use Klipper to drive them faster and faster. And that's that. This will probably be a good video series for Stefan from CNC Kitchen. But how fast can we go before we start to lose strength in the interlayer adhesion between layers, right? And there
Yeah.
is going to be a threshold onto it. It's going to be subjective. Obviously, if you're printing with like a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, where you're leaving more material behind that has sort of more heat to give up than a smaller nozzle with the smaller layer height, there's things that you can do to manipulate that. But those are going to come into play also as you start driving faster and faster, as we're starting to see. It's can your filament actually get melted at the cubic feet per minute that you're putting down, right? Can the hot end keep up? There's plenty out there that can. Some lean heavy into more like the volcano type hot ends that have a much larger melt zone to give it a chance to sort of pre-melt it. But there's trade-offs with stuff like that, like you lose retraction accuracy and some other things as you get larger and larger heat zones, right?
Yep. And I saw Damien in the comment area. He said, uh, his Mercury, which is built from an SV05 print at 300 to 400 millimeter per second at 8,000.
On acceleration.
Yeah, sorry, so far. And actually, recently we have a program which is about to uh, you doing some DIY work on your. I can remember that maybe it's the SV03 or some or maybe another machine. And I think that activity has been published on the Sovo Facebook group. And if you have the machine and such technical, you can maybe attend this activity. Yeah, Damien.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any other question? Okay, if no, I will move into the next part. Okay, so the next part is the significance of the 3D printing instruction manuals. Well, so Luke, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
For now, if you get a new machine, will you read the manual first or just go straight and use that?
Um, I go back and forth. So it depends on what machine comes in. And
Yep.
usually it's, if I get the manual out, it's usually if I'm just trying to figure out which length fasteners go where. Because with new models, you don't necessarily know what length fasteners. Like I can probably look at the hole and say I need say a 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter, but if I use the wrong set of fasteners there, then when I get to another part, I don't have the right length fasteners. So I usually use them for that. Um, as far as setup and operation, unless there's something really significantly different, I'm not spending a ton of time in the manual. But I mean, I've been doing this for multiple years, so unless there was some totally new feature added that I needed to be aware of, there's not a lot of information in there that's gonna draw me into reading the manual.
Okay, so I saw Christopher in the comment area. Yeah, he said definitely read the manual first as a guideline. Yeah, but
Yeah,
cause I only have like two 3D printer and I'm not very familiar about the uh all other 3D printing machine. But uh, if I move to another area, cause I when I using the like maybe the phone or some other machine, I think I prefer to explore everything about that by myself, without reading the menu.
yeah.
I think that is pretty fun. Yeah, but
Mhm.
I think for the 3D printer, cause there is the problem about the safety, so people should read the manual first.
Yeah, for new users, absolutely they should follow the manual. See if you can find some good YouTube videos to educate yourself on the other parts of what is 3D printing. We have a super secret project that's soon to take off to hopefully give some resources for that with Sobal and some other people. But yeah, it's sort of hard because in a paper manual, you're not going to be able to fully lay out setting up a slicer, finding slicer profiles. You might have some decent drawings for how do you load the filament, or if it has a filament function in the console, you can explain that. But there's a lot of stuff like slicing prints. You got to do it a couple times to really understand. Why do I need support? Oh, you do a print and it fails because it's got spaghetti because you didn't use support. And then you go to the group and like, hey, why did my print fail? And we're like, oh, you didn't use support. These types of things. But hopefully that special project that we're going to be working on here going forward will give some people some tools to have a smoother ride as they enter the hobby. I don't know the percentages of people coming into the hobby versus the older community of people. I work really, really hard in adminning the 60 some odd Facebook groups that I admin to make sure that the more mature community does not beat up on the fresh people when they come in with what they consider basic questions. It wouldn't even matter if the post before them had the answer to their question in it. If they don't understand, it's not of much use to them. So we really encourage the no stupid no stupid questions in the groups because everybody has a place to start. And for some people, asking the questions is just their handshake to the community. Hey, here I am. I want to introduce myself or talk to people, and it's their sort of, hey, I'm here. Can I talk and get in the temperature of the group, as it were, right?
Yep. Oh,
So, may I say,
yeah.
sorry I'm late, and hi Luke, and hi everyone, and yeah, thank you, Alex is having us that kick on the live.
I have explained to Luke, and our audience said that you are having a meeting.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
come
yeah.
here late. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you missed my rendition of about, I don't know, 10 different printers that were large format printers and my thoughts on a couple of their features or whatever, but you can catch it in the rerun.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed the most important part. Yeah.
And the
So
print
the
house
print
said,
house, yeah, go ahead.
print house said that the paper menu need QR code to our YouTube video. And I think we definitely have that, and we also have the QR code link to our Facebook group.
Yeah, so the current MO of most manufacturers is the QR code takes you to their main lead-in page, whether it's Soval or Comgrow or Creality or Anycubic or whatever. And this is a forum to let the audience or the users talk to the manufacturers, as it were, at least this manufacturer. And yeah, it would be nice if we could create a QR link to maybe a YouTube playlist if we create content specific to a model that was available, or at least have a link at the main page for the models for relevant videos. One of those two paths, at least as long as you have something in the manual to get the users there that would be convenient.
And I think that if the users just read the menu first before they using the product, I think this can also help them to maximize their printer efficient uh, sorry efficiency, I think, and also to uh decrease the trouble. Yeah, because
Yeah,
the manual often have some explanation about the some risk or the problem users may face when they're using the machine, and the user manual can help them to troubleshooting as well as to slow the problem for them.
and that's part of the reason I have my help guide. So I have a PDF that most people can find either through the Facebook groups. It's hosted at th3dstudios.com, and it's also hosted by Creality at the main Creality group. But it's like 124 page PDF document. It's more text and pictures, but it explains what all the different parts of the printers are, how to assemble the basic frames and all the eccentric wheels properly, things like that. So there's resources out there, and there's tons of really good videos. There's going to be even more videos, hopefully in the future, that'll help with that, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's lots of resources out there. In the end, it's getting to the point where there's so much noise, finding reliable information, especially specific to a model, is harder than it used to be. So anything we can do to curate either playlists, like as an example, like Soval could choose on their main website for a model to maybe create a playlist or a link to a page of links to videos that the communities produce that they find helpful for a model. And that could be a good way to increase engagement. It helps the YouTubers out. It helps the customers out. Something we could play around with if it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just saw the print house said another thing, which is the QR code for every step. Each video is 25 to 45 second totally. Well, do you mean that the video is the tutorial video for the assemble or other things?
So he's alluding to something that Creality's starting to do. They're putting together these short clips, almost like YouTube Shorts, but for different steps of maintenance on their printers. And so yeah, you could actually whether it was on the SD card or on the paper manual, if you had the videos prepared in advance, basically have the building process broken down into short little videos, and however many steps are in the manual, you'd have that many videos, and you can just watch video after video to see each step as you're building the printer, which wouldn't be a bad thing. It could actually help a lot with user returns for people that get stuck in the building process.
Yeah.
The ones that take more steps.
Yeah. I think the
good point, print house.
oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I think last thing I remember is that the Edge of Tech actually make the looks guide about this Warren before. I mean, he's 3-4 years ago. I don't know, the kind of very detailed. Yeah, according to looks guide. Yeah, I think for the latest situation, as far as I know, since I work for Quality before, and I think recently I do not check their kind of after service videos, but before they usually I think do the better one. They have the specific channel. Actually, when their new product release, they will just immediately upload all the support videos,
Right.
how to fix this part. But temporarily, so will not catch up yet. And I also saw other manufacturers also they kind of just introduce a new printer. They will make the after support videos one by one later. Maybe take months or half year.
Right.
Yeah, but so yeah.
This is an opportunity to partner with the community, and
Yeah.
we could really work on partnering with some of the either the beta testers or early YouTube marketers to
Yeah.
help with creating those types of things, and then it's less of a company load. Um, and a lot of those people would be glad to do it just to get extra content for their channels or whatever. So it might be a partnership community, partnership thing, or maybe give them a little incentive to help out with it. But then you don't have to have a whole new group that's just doing the after sales videos per se, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I know I
Yeah.
get into the mindset of I can do this and I can do this, and sometimes you have to let people who want to help, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I look at it. I think this is also a chance for Sovo to catch up. Yeah, I think if as the print house said, if we do have this very detailed video, QR code on the menu, that should be really awesome for especially for the newbie customers.
Yeah,
As last time we discussed that some customers even do not know how to describe this problem. So if the menu just laid out every detailed thing,
right.
that should be really
Yeah,
easy for
and
them.
and
Yeah,
and I know that the guy whoever was brought up like a QR code for every video. You can do playlists on YouTube. So I think
yeah,
one QR code to a playlist. Yes, that's smart. I don't think you have to have like a QR code for
yeah,
every step, but at
yes,
least one
yes,
one general one. Right?
yeah,
So
a general one. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think there's one more question about this,
yeah.
because when like the technical department, they find the machine's problem while testing them. I think they call this as uh, a action to improve the quality. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, when the users using the machine and the problem occur, that is called a problem. So I think most of the time we can know the the problem that users may just report to us. I think that need to
Yeah,
take quite a long time to collect the problem and do those after support video.
I mean I understand
yeah,
you. You mean that if
there's another element to that. A lot of the users get frustrated with customer support, but you might have a user that doesn't even know how to describe the basic parts of the printer to identify the problem that they have, and that's its own hill to climb, as it were.
yeah, yeah, I quite understand the Alex question that they said if there is not a problem, how do you make a support video? So, but anyway, yeah, it's also kind of angle that, but the problem usually will be this suspect, right? This suspect part. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and people always ask if this method apply to my printer. Yeah, you cannot just say yeah. It just like you, for example, like the motor is broken. You cannot just use some other factory, other brands method. Even it's the same motor model. I mean, yeah.
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 So anyway, continue.
Well,
Yeah,
so let's start the next topic, which is from Ben. And we'll talk about the uh, Klipper's interaction design, the native one versus the custom one, and which is better. Yeah.
yeah. So my since we are developing a new printer, and there is uh, uh, some examples out there on the market. Something like Bamboo and Creative doing is just a really a customer one. Yes, they just cut out I think some of the functions. At least in the interface. You could go to the main cell or the system to check out more, but for the screen, Clipper screen, they have the few features, but some like Sovo SO7, we have all kind of the native original stuff on the screen. And
You didn't customize it for your machine. You went with what Klipper natively offered.
yeah, and some people, I don't know, it's called King Grow. They do not have a screen. So I just want to know everybody that what's your favorite kind of way to use Klipper? Is the screen really useful, or it's even need to customize, or you just don't use the screen? You kind of just use the computer to control your tablet or your phone even, since it's yeah.
I can't say I represent the whole community in this, but I personally like to have both the ability to do it on my computer or at the printer. Um, if you have a big print farm and you're sending stuff off from a laptop, that's nice. But if you're only able to drive it from the printer, or sorry, from the computer, if the computer is set up in the house and the printer's in the garage, now I go out to the printer, I'm there, I need to do maintenance on it. I can't make it move. I can't purge filament. I can't do anything without having to run back to the printer, or sorry, the computer, and back to the printer, unless you're on a laptop. But then I don't know. There's some downsides to not having a screen, and I know that there is a little bit of a trend for people like, oh, it doesn't need a screen or whatever. But I personally am a fan of the screens. I would say from what I've seen from the community, if you want input on that, the bigger input is whatever screen you provide, whether it's less complicated is better, and one that has the most information from the manufacturer so that they can customize it would be the community's preference. I know that TH3D hates some of the newer color touchscreens because you can't get into the back of it to do all the things you want to do to give the user interface you want, and that's restraining, right? So maybe lean in towards more like what the rep community is using for basic screens over a fancy new color screen that nobody's seen before, right? This is a thought process to what you're supplying on the printers. Plus, that also leads to, if you're using a very popular generic screen, 5 years from now, if you're not supporting that model, then the users can also still get parts for it, right? So there's a longevity sometimes to those types of things. Just some food for thoughts, right?
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Yes. I think I think in this situation, so it's in a really awkward situation, so because kind of as I think the four big guys, Quality, Algo, and Cubic, WebLab, they all go to this customer kind of situation, or on the other side, like Algo, Algo and Cubic temporarily do not still produce any wall-run printer or kind of this coil white printer, but they do use Klipper, but their screen is kind of like a very like the old model. They just fast, but you do not need to learn kind of anything extra. You just use it. So, and compared to Creati and Bamboo, they kind of give more options, but it is also kind of an easy way to use, because so now we are facing people. I see the comment people said, you need to open source, you need to let people update, but this kind of good things on the other side to us is a problem, since we need to, because I think Algo and Creative Bamboo, they do not have this kind of thing. They just update per layer views. Yeah, but if we just do this original, we need to keep up with the community version, a different approach, and nobody actually do this till now. I think for this original Klipper built-in stuff. Of course, I know the Warren. There is some manufacturers like IDO Motors. They already kind of embrace this Warren, and they sell at Mad Hackers. But except that, the mainstream is still going to the easy way. So it's kind of really awkward. So I'm just asked that which way we should take. Yeah.
Yeah. Long term, for repeat customers, the more stuff you have that's easier to replace, that's not manufacturer specific, the better, in my opinion. Especially when it comes to like injection molded parts that might break or get damaged and stuff like that. Just once things become unavailable or whatever, then somebody has a printer they can no longer service. Sort of that's the thought process, anyways.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say detail that like Algo and Cubic, their latest model like Cobra 2 like Pro Plus Max or Algo's Neptune 4 Pro Plus or Max something. You uh, we do not have machine, but as far as I know, they don't have the acceleration settings for you to tune in the screen, right? But the Klipper screen they have, right? They both use Klipper, but they totally different strategy here for people to use. So that's the thing I'm talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? You're trying to interact with an audience that hasn't bought your product yet, and what you do will influence who may or may not purchase it. I'm trying to give you input that might lean a little bit more towards the long term increased sales or whatever, but it's only my guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
If manufacturers over time have gotten probably well intended feedback from the community, but then it doesn't work, right? So as a matter of talking about stuff like that early on, during when the Ender 3 was so hot, the community said, we want big printers, right? Creality makes the CR10 S5, 500 millimeters cubed, right? Probably not the best execution with the bed not heating all the way out to the edges and some other stuff, but they made it for the community that wanted it, and they ate their shorts on it because they didn't hardly sell any because only like less than 1% of the community wanted them because they couldn't even fit them in their workspace, right? So sometimes what the community wants to tell the manufacturers from that person to them is real, but it's not what the group of new people coming in will want, right? So wading your way through that, I do not envy you as you're trying to make decisions that separate you from other people in the market.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I kind of not cannot decide the same, but yeah, I just want to get some feedback. So yes, for our colleague Alex to maybe know more about printers, and also I will get all the feedback to the company to let them decide that the direction of Soul's printer in detail. Yeah, since we are just yeah, I think yeah, the, 2024 should be more course wide war on printers or Clipper printers on the way. So yeah, we will see. Yeah.
And actually, I have a crazy idea.
Yeah.
What? Can we, combine the AI with the with the Klipper together, so we don't need to consider about to use the original one or the custom one? Because like we can, no, but I don't know if that can be, come true for now. But I think if we can, give the order to the screen, like to like we what we do to the Siri on iPhone.
Right?
I think
Yeah. You want to be able to
maybe
tell the
that is,
printer, print me
yeah,
5 of this model that's in your currently in the inventory or whatever. Yeah, that would be nice.
yeah. What you need to do is just to tell the printer it should do
It,
what, and it
it'll only be
will,
a
yeah,
it'll only be a couple of years before we have an AI that can basically, you can tell it what components you have on your printer and it'll build the firmware for them, and that'll probably take the heat off the manufacturers. Everybody will want their computers or their printers jailbroken or whatever, but then they can do whatever they want for firmware, and it'll it'll have a bot that puts it together for them. Yeah, I agree. We don't need to lock down the Klipper or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
So provide the customer with whatever at the time you start manufacturing is the latest version of Klipper, and then if they want, they can change it to, if they get one that's, in the queue for 9 months and there's a new release, they can update it. Um, but I don't think locking them down really does a whole lot for anybody, other than giving them one more step and jailbreaking it to go onto the main Marlin trunk and do changes of their own.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So we have ended today's free topic. And if our audience have anything which want to discuss with us, you can like also type that on the comment area, and yeah, we can discuss about that now, like a special part for today because we don't have as much people as before.
Yeah, maybe I add one more point to your AI stuff. I think now temporarily the AI stuff is the LiDAR, right? The Creative K1 use or the Bamboo use. I don't know if Anchor Make also use this technology, but other than that, there is no any further stuff out there from my manufacturer side. I do saw some YouTuber 3D printing YouTuber. I don't remember who. They just tell the AI to generate some J code file to print. Yeah, so that's kind of
right.
thing I know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some people playing around with actual modeling, and then there's some people playing around with the G code stuff. And I've been doing more research into raw G code stuff. I went down the rabbit hole the other day because I told you that I think long term there's going to be a market for the 5-axis 3D printers. I guess it's
Yeah.
5D printers, right? I don't even know how you
Yeah.
say it right. But anyhow, there will be interest in that. There is some stuff out there, but they're basically using G code generators from what more like a machinist uses to create the slicing, as it were, or the G code. And I think that there's some things that might happen long term in the G code generation there, where we get a blend of what we can consider slicers that can do 5-axis or whatever. But it'll be pretty neat,
Mhm.
and like that. But the users will like it because, one, you don't have to use supports like 90% of the time, and
Mhm.
you end up with stronger parts. Once we get the hang of it, for the G code creation, we can actually have prettier looking parts that are stronger, that are done on a 5-axis. And it's not going to be for everybody, but there'll be plenty of people that want to have one and play around with it. The only other thing that's going to be about that is, generally the footprint for those are going to be pretty big. Although I have some
Yeah.
ideas on how to do one that doesn't need as big of a footprint, but we'll save that for Ben and see if it turns into a special project or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and once maybe I add not this topic stuff really, but this I use the printer a lot, and when you use the Klipper, I use SV07. I think the fan, as the people also feedback, is really loud. Is there any other printer when they print really fast, they just loud as people joking that it's jet engine, right? It's I don't know if every printer when they print at 300 millimeter second or 5
Right,
millimeter second, it's just really
right.
loud.
The SV07 has the bulk area cooling fan on it, right? That big fan
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is a little louder than some. Um, yeah. So for the regular printers, the biggest noise reduction, people go can try those Noctua fans, but they don't move enough air. But my personal opinion is, I think we talked about this before, they come with brushless fans that are noisier. If you go to a quality ball bearing fan, that's going to cost you significantly more. So instead of getting whatever 6 Winsun crap fans for $11 or whatever, you're going to get like 2 nice ball bearing fans for $15 or something. but they're worth it because the ball bearing ones are quieter and they'll last significantly longer. And the other part of it is there's going to be noise, right? You just in the end can't control all of the noise.
Yeah.
And I honestly like that the SPO7's bulk area fan for when you're really pushing the speed. You need that kind of cooling for PLA. So, but it is rather loud.
Okay, yeah. Since I use in the office and our after service people is just earlier, so usually they will just read from the customer's email or message that the people saying that your printer is just like a jet engine. Now they just hear, they feel the pain. Okay, so I just let all my people hear it. Yeah. So
yeah, I think the biggest complaint that I've heard, and pardon me because I only ever dealt with the SPO7 at the ERF when I set them up. But the biggest thing is it's an on-off, right? So either you get 100% or nothing. And I think what a lot of people like to see would be, can you set it up to do like, percentage-based fan in how you set up the motherboard or in the firmware? And I think that would go a long ways because then they could turn it on at, let's say, 30% instead of 100% fan, and then they get some additional cooling, but instead of sounding like a jet engine, it sounds more like a sports car or something,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we pretty much talking about everything today, and it kind of the end, right? We do not have any further topic to share, right? Yeah. So then we just
And this,
yeah, we
actually, I have one more things to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend studied industrial design, and recently she have a thought that can we just use a mechanical arm to taking place of the the 3 axis and just use the robot arm to like do all the printing work. Do you think?
Right.
Okay.
What do you
So
think about that?
I actually have some well thought out thoughts on that because essentially I think that when we get to close to the nirvana of the 5-axis machine, it's going to be an arm on one side, a rotating plate that can spin about its axis and rotate, and that arm is going to work in concert with the plate. So she's not wrong. Where the difference is she's seeing these machines that are used in factories where that arm costs $60,000, and that's not going to sell well in the community, right? So when we get that arm-based work, it's going to be because we figure out how to price encoders to put at the movement points that are accurate enough that we can get them into the prosumer printer range of cost, and then get the company G code to work with those so that we can actually do like we're talking about, use an arm and a rotary table, rotates 360 and on another axis. And we are there to what she's suggesting and what I'm thinking of might be the minimalist 3-axis machine. So taking up the least amount of space, but with the most degrees of movement. And then your size will be based on how big your rotary platform is and how long the arm is, right? Obviously, the longer the arm gets, the more accurate your degrees of motion control has to be, because out here at the end, every arc degree is a significantly larger portion, right? Or, so here's the blow your mind part, right? Or we get it set up with LiDAR and there's a ball on the workhead and it gives feedback position, and now it's controlling it without having to be quite as accurate in the components, and it gets to do its work with feedback from the LiDAR. But that's like the next level of all of that or whatever. We're not there yet, but these things can happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So won't be the Hobbit machine in short time, but maybe in future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it has been. Some of those have been made in riprap. Not exactly how I'm describing them, but similar for sure.
All right, so we just end here pretty much, and hope everybody enjoys the show. And thank you, Luke, as always, joining us today. Yeah, thank you.
So, shall we tell our audience that we like won't have the podcast for like
Oh yeah,
2 weeks?
yeah. Okay.
Because we have a Chinese New Year vacation, and we'll have a 2 weeks holiday, and maybe the next broadcast to meet with you guys again is like 3 weeks later. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
probably around that. Yeah.
Yes. We have we have vacation finally.
Yeah.
Uh, after you, yeah,
Yeah,
after your Christmas, yeah.
yeah. Enjoy your time off or whatever, and we'll pick up with the next episode after you're back from holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Okay. And bye, every guys.
Yeah.
Have a good day and good night. Yeah.
Yeah. Good night.
Okay.